I guess I didn't see our intro go off. I guess we're live. Let's do this properly. Oh, right. Because I recorded a video for the Elster Nation video, so I had to turn off the intro and outro. All right, Mulligan. Now then, what is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Methos.
And G the Hypersapien.
And G the Hypersapien. Always a pleasure to work with this gentleman. Superfly checking in. How goes, you fine pigment pushers? Doing well, my brother. All today, I think G is going to be painting a marine, so he will be a fine pigment pusher. Today, I'm actually doing some building. We'll be building this bad boy right here. Or there's no way I'll do all this in one set. I'm going to be lucky. I'm going to try and get my light side done tonight, and it's the terrain because I've got a game coming up with Brother Oni tomorrow. Who took my dice? Have a wonderful night, gents. You and G Rock. Your face rocks, brother. And I've been lacking in Hobby Mojo for a couple weeks now, but I have been kind of inspired by Who Took My Dice miniature war games excitement with the new Assault Marines, and Freak loaned me his 3D printer a few weeks ago, and I've been struggling to figure out what I want my first print to be. And so this is the start to doing some Assault Marines here. And I love the Eviscerator. Space Wolves can't take an Eviscerator, so I've been looking for an excuse for years to take an Eviscerator. And so I'm going to be adding this guy to my Ultramarines. I cleaned him once with degreaser and once with denatured alcohol. Feels still just a touch greasy. I'm going to have to give him another wash with alcohol before I paint him up. And I left his arms. These arms are still detachable. You can see from the moving limbs here because I want to get underneath those arms to paint that chest plate and that face plate without any obstruction. But the Eviscerator, guys, how cool is a massive two-handed chainsword? This thing's almost as big as he is. So, what kind of Marine you got there, G?
I have the Indomitus Space Marine Captain.
Ooh,
that's the one right. The one that carries around his dead grandfather for some reason, because that's not grim dark or nothing.
No, not at all. I have been not motivated either in the last few weeks. Took me a month to paint some D&D minis. Yes. Similarly, I too still have a few D&D minis that I need to finish up. But today we're not going to talk about what I failed to do. We're going to talk about how I'm going to do this for my game with Brother Oni tomorrow. He's bringing his dark side, so that's one thing I don't need to build. Plus, the dark side will be going to Freak anyways. But I do need to get started on the terrain, and I do need to put together my light side for the morrow. I'm glad to say I'm not the only one that's been lacking behind in the motivation. I know motivation block can definitely be part of our hobby, and sometimes we need a break. But sometimes when we say we're going to take a break from the hobby, we get focused on other things, and then it's just hard to come back from the break. Even though we know once we get going, we know this is stuff we love to do. It can just be, you can just get lost not taking that first step to do it again. This Space Marine, by the way, is from Station Forge. This is their Socratic Marine line, which makes great as stand-in Space Marines. Did someone say terrain? Yes, this core set comes. This core set here comes with both a light side and a dark side, and comes with some official Shatterpoint terrain for use with your game. And you can see we've got a game tomorrow, although we didn't until Wednesday decide we were going to play Warhammer. We didn't until Wednesday decide that we were playing Shatterpoint, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to building. But Wednesday I was hanging out with my brother Darklight, and yesterday was a D&D night, and so today's my real first chance to work on any of this. But yeah, excited. This just came in this week. Came in on Wednesday, actually, I think.
So who do you get in that set? I see
Huh?
Ahsoka, Darth Maul, and then does she come with Mandalorians?
Yes, she comes with Bo-Katan and her Mandalorians.
Oh, that's dope. Who's Darth Maul get?
Bo-Katan, and there's some other Mandalorians here. There are also some clone troopers here. These are two Mandalorians that serve the dark side.
Nice.
The dark side also gets the B2 droids from when they were working with the Separatists. There is one of the droid leaders here. This is one of the captains of the Republic Commandos. Can't remember his name right off the jump. A couple more of Bo-Katan's Mandalorians and a couple more clone troopers. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, honestly, oh, and let's not forget, as far as heroes go, not only does it come with Darth Maul and Ahsoka, but up towards the top here, you've also got oh my gosh, I've forgotten her name already. She's the one on the cover of the box.
Is it Assange or something?
Yeah, yeah. Got to practice my reading upside down skills. Asajj, there we go.
That's the one.
Asajj and Anakin are the other characters.
Anakin.
I told somebody that it comes with Anakin, and somebody asked if it was pre or post Younglings. I thought that was hilarious. But Anakin, what about the Younglings?
Are you going to give him a sand-themed base? Got to give him his favorite.
You know, I haven't even thought about basing for these guys. That'll be a good question. How do I want to base these guys up? You know, so far, most people I've seen that they've just done very flat basing. And I don't even know what the basing. We're about to find out. I don't remember what the base. Even though I just played this game like 2 weeks ago with Oni's miniatures, I think they have like their own special bases. I don't think, like, I think you just paint up their pre-existing bases. I don't think you necessarily have to base it yourself. But let's find out.
Yeah, because that's the same company that done Marvel Crisis Protocol, right? And they just had basically sort of just a bit of texture to look like an environment.
This is Atomic Mass Games. What is Marvel Crisis Protocol? Flat basing is lame. Okay, so I have
Atomic Mass.
It's also Atomic Mass? Okay,
Yeah.
then yes, it is the same company. I was about to say, I could pull one of these, but then I have a Jenga problem. If I try and pull one of my Marvel Crisis packages here, it could all come down just like in Jenga. The new board game Shake. Oh, it's almost there. There it goes.
Cool.
That is solid. Oh, this is cool. I hadn't seen this yet. Of course, I haven't really watched any unboxings or anything. Star Wars Shatterpoint art backdrops.
That's awesome.
Fold backdrop. Locate the fold indicators of the backdrop you wish to use. So this is meant to actually really take good pictures of your minis. And look at it. It comes with, okay, we've got Anakin's favorite.
That's the scene where he's running away. So it would have been a shorter franchise if Darth Maul caught up to him.
I love the meme that's like, oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but it's like Inception here between the two camera angles. On the bottom screen, it's coming up, and then it looks like it's finishing the picture at my top screen here.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That's a Matrix stuff right there.
But oh, and then we've got the ice planet Hoth. I assume that's Hoth.
Darth Vader's favorite.
That's pretty cool. I love the idea that they give you backdrops to take cool pictures with. And as I was reading on the card there's a fold here. You can fold it back either way to have a nice little display area to take your pictures. This part I remember. This game comes with 1,500 tokens for you to punch out. Okay, it's just one sheet, but 1,500 tokens for you to punch out. So different kinds of status effects and stuff like that. Also, like there's force powers you can spend on. These are like your force tokens. That way, you know. And like, so in this game, force is kind of a semi-finite resource, but then each character has ways of earning it back. Like Asajj, if she deals damage to a main character, she can replenish all of her force and heal herself. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed playing as Asajj when I was playing Darkside last time. So tomorrow will actually be my second game, but first time playing light side. The core rule book here. And as we talked about last week on the show, it's not a massive book for the rules. It is a pretty thin book, and everything, like I said, was pretty easy to understand and follow last time I played. It is 40 books, 40 pages. Just about. It ends on page 39. So, like I said, pretty, not a hefty read. Definitely something I could see myself flipping through just to, study up on the finer points of the game. A little separator here. I kind of like that they have the nice, like the rule book and the cardboard cutouts for you to take your pictures on and stuff like that. And then they've got a little divider, keeping the plastic from rubbing up against it. Do you ever get sometimes with a Warhammer set, they send you nice artwork, but then it's like pressed against all the sprues?
Because they do something that Games Workshops need to do, put the plastic in a bag so it has that extra bit of cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. Do a lava base for Anakin. Well, if you've seen my Imperial Knight Army, I've been getting pretty good at lava bases, although that's kind of messed up. All right, so I need to keep this bag out because I need to be building tonight. Oh, but we were talking about the bases. Let's go ahead and answer that question.
Yeah, from memory, they are like Marvel, where it's just like a little bit of, just
ship texture. And in some cases, you can see like, it looks like where the edge of a ship meets the earth here. So you got some like crags and stuff like that.
The Marvel ones are just like that out in the, say, like New York City, the streets.
That's pretty cool. It's nice that they include some like nice detailed bases, and they're not just, super generic bases.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you a question, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer.
I'm curious now.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character, and why is it Ahsoka?
It is Ahsoka because she's amazing. I haven't seen all of like the animated stuff like Clone Wars, Uh, although I do plan on getting back into it soon. But I liked what I saw of her in Clone Wars, but also in The Mandalorian, she's just amazing. And so I'm like, okay, this is the girl. Okay, so this is one of the interesting things I was brought up on the show when we were talking about our first game. So I want to be able to show all that to you. We're going to get some of this out of Zebe. So much plastic goodness. So these are all the sprues you get in the box set. Nice little mountain of sprues. That's not bad. Feels like a very lightweight sprue. Get your bag of goodie dice. And they use special symbols here, like that are very similar to X-Wing. So, you can't just run out and buy any set of dice. There are special dice for this game. These are black tokens as you score points, and the clear token here is kind of like the marker of who wins the objectives that round. So it's really cool. So there are physical objectives on the field, right? And each turn that the game goes on, you put out, like the main card we drew last time was like 9 evenly spread tokens across the field. Okay, but then each turn we would draw a card to see which ones were active. And so it kind of reminds me a little bit of 7th edition, where you used to draw the cards of which objectives you were going to go take. Now, each person, the clear dice starts in the middle, and that's the winning marker, right? Each person starts way out here on 8. And at the end of each turn, whoever controls more objectives moves closer towards their black dice, right? Each time you deal a wound to your opponent, your slots fill in and you move closer to the clear dice. So in a way, it rewards. Like the problem with Warhammer sometimes is you could kill everybody and just ignore the objectives, or you could get into a weird spot where you just play the objectives and don't really focus on fighting. And even though you've lost every fight on the map, somehow you still lose the game. You still win the game.
Yeah.
This kind of like forces you to do both. So as you're dealing more damage, you're moving closer to that crystal dice, your win condition, but also as you claim more objectives, the win condition moves towards you. And often a winning spot is going to be somewhere here in the middle where you've dealt wounds and captured objectives. So it's a really good way that it's such a great concept. I'm surprised no one's ever come up with it before, but it incorporates forcing you to not play a skew game, to really focus both on fighting and then working the objectives at the same time. Gamers with coffee, good afternoon. Oh, no, you're on this side of the pond with us. You're good evening, my friends. Good afternoon to G. You're on the correct side for me to say that. It is afternoon, right? Or is it still morning?
It is. Yeah, well, it's 11:23, so it's starting to get to midday.
Okay. So yeah, like I don't think I explained this super well, but like when you see it in action, it seems like such a great way of determining win conditions. And since I'm about to unbox some of the cards, I can show you kind of some of what I'm talking about here. Ooh, I don't know why I didn't catch this when I was playing the game. Ahsoka's title in this game is Jedi No More.
Huh.
Okay, so this is kind of what I was mentioning. 9 equally distributed objectives across the field, right? And if we drew this card for our turn, oops, there we go. If we drew this card, it would show the 4 in the center that make a cross would be the objectives that would be lit up for that turn. And those are the ones that are active and you want to try and capture. The ones that are grayed out don't do anything for you that round. But then we go into the next turn, boop. All of a sudden, it's the ones that are lit up like a Z shape that make up the objectives. And so sometimes you could have been on a perfectly valid objective, and then the next turn comes around and your objective deactivates. You got to move to a different one. So pretty cool. It definitely, I think, helps. I've only played one game so far myself, but it definitely seems like it would keep it from getting stale. Same scenario all the time. That the objectives in the same place. You know what I mean? Here are the beautiful, beautiful art cards that they've done for Ahsoka.
Cool.
And then, like on the opposite, these are also your activation cards. So each player shuffles up their activation deck, and then when it comes to your turn, you're like, okay, it's all shuffled up. Next, I draw, and I'm going to activate the Mandalorians. You know, and then the next turn, I would activate. I can't remember his name. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. Let's find some of the ones we know we want to see, like Bo-Katan. Again, beautiful artwork. Anakin. One of the captains of the clone troopers with his boys. Darth Maul. Asajj. This random droid guy. I'm so terrible at remembering. Oh, these are Shatterpoint cards, which are special because if you draw one of these, you can activate any character you want, even if they've already gone this turn, which can come in really handy for some clutch plays. Is that 10th? No, this is Star Wars Shatterpoint. So after playing with Oni set the other day, Freak and I loved the game so much, we went ahead and ordered our own sets. That way we could each have an army. And tomorrow I've got a game with Oni. And so I'm going to try and work on the light side characters so that way I can play tomorrow, and some of the terrain so I can play tomorrow. That was Ashley. She thought it was OS. You mean she thought it was 10th? It's all good. It's all good. New box set around the time of 10th edition being released, so I can totally understand. I part of me earlier was thinking, I could totally do a clickbait and say, we got
Unboxing 10th edition.
or make it more vague, like unboxing the core box set. And it's not the core box set for 10th edition; it's the core box set for Shatterpoint.
Yeah, make it vague and put the thumbnail as Leviathan. Just.
But I have a hard time doing stuff like that because I don't want to upset people.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can't really just, I won't name drop anyone because I don't want to make anyone salty, but we all know that guy.
There's no need to be sorry, my friend. If you don't
They
know, you don't know.
They saw a plastic crack and they're just like, Warhammer.
I mean, that is usually the plastic crack that is on this channel. So
yeah, they're the biggest crack dealers around.
Absolutely. Okay, that is all the characters in that bag.
Yeah, to be honest, Warhammer's awesome, but I'm kind of more excited to see you build this.
I'm pretty excited too. And like I said, as soon as we got our first hit and first play of it, I knew we needed some more.
And in celebration of Warhammer Leviathan, I've just busted out my Indomitus. This is the first model of Indomitus that I'm going to paint. So, a few years late, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. After just recently, I had put together and Oni painted for me my Indominus eradicators here. So I still need to um, do the decals on them and matte varnish them. All right, so the instructions are not here. Actually, I know that there are instructions on their website. So, G, you said you were working on your Indominus Space Marine, and you said it's the captain.
yeah,
Nice. With the one with his grandfather on the shield.
that's it. So I did the base Zenithal white and black. I did the Marine black, but then I put a lot of blue McCrag on it. So I don't really know what to do now because I'm like, oh, he's blue already.
Oh, babe, I figured it out. Okay, so my wife and I were discussing the other day, about burial versus cremation, what we want done with our bodies, that kind of thing. I've I've decided I can be like that space marine. When I go, make sure my bones are bleached, and then have them varnished or dipped in resin and stuck to a shield to be passed down through the family. Resin my bones, woman.
Yeah. See, that's what that's what I thought about him. I'm like, why is he carrying around a dead body, weirdo? I had the same reaction.
It's I you know it's strange, but also the no, not the judiciary, the ancient, who's got the banner in one hand, and on the other hand he's carrying what looks like the big kind of key ring, like a jailer's
Yeah,
key ring would be on. Yeah, and attached to that ring is
just a
just
neck
like,
run hand.
oh, is that a necron? I thought it was just a skeleton hand. I thought it was
Yeah, it looks
another
like
space
it's
marine bone.
looks like it's robotic. So he's
Okay.
probably he just. Oh, I like that neck run. He was kind of cool. I'll just take his hand and just carry it around for a
his
while.
his new key charm.
He's like, you know what, that would make a good like keyring holder. I was speaking to someone earlier and I asked them, I'm like, about the carrying around, and their answer was, it's the last person who owned the shield. And I'm like, yeah, well, what? You buy a car and you just to the front bumper you attach the last owner and just drive around with it. But yeah, this was the previous owner.
It reminds me of like in Cyberpunk, you pick up a car and somebody else's body is inside, or they're like not even dead yet. You found out that you're picking them up because the car isn't the present for somebody; it's going to be the person inside. And you're like, yo, you're just supposed to pick up this new car. Oh, thanks. Oh, this is a body drop off. Okay, I see what's happening here.
Yeah, you look back and you say, and you're like, this just got a lot more dark than I expected.
Exactly. Oh, here we go. Shatterpoint assembly guides. Uh, corset. All right, looks like Anakin is number 1 on this list. And actually, I can put this on.
Anakin should be number one on everyone's list.
If Ahsoka, always Ahsoka.
Did you watch Obi-Wan the series?
Yes, so good.
I mean, how epic was him meeting his little Annie?
There were a lot of really good moments with the two in that series. A lot of them.
Yeah, they just need to stop mucking around and just do a Darth Vader series.
I really like
Like
what they do with
Vader's,
Vader in this, though.
yeah, he was awesome in Rogue One as well. But I like how Hayden Christian was attached to this one.
Yeah. All right, so
And
if
he
anyone,
did a pretty damn good job as well.
he, I need to see Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One, it was just Vader in the suit, so I forget who played him, but it wasn't Hayden Christian. So.
Yeah, in Obi-Wan, they really did great homage to the what came before. Okay, let's see. I don't think this is going to zoom in for fine enough detail. Uh, maybe. Maybe if I just keep getting it closer, maybe it'll focus. Or further, closer. Every time I think it's just about ready to focus, it goes back to focusing on the desk. What about this backdrop? Oh, okay, there we go. So you guys can see some nice crisp detail there. And I don't know if it'll get close enough. Yeah, you can see there are little numbers, so it's numbered very similar to the way Warhammer is. So if you're used to putting together Warhammer models, very, very similar as far as looking at the instructions, finding the numbered part you want, putting it together. And one added benefit is that the website for Atomic Mass Games, they actually keep all of their instructions for all of their builds, whether you're talking Star Wars, Marvel Crisis Protocol. They've got free instructions that you can pull up right on their website, which is awesome. So that is definitely huge kudos to them. How many times? I mean, I'm sure Games Workshop probably is in the habit of trying to encourage that you pick up secondhand models or whatever. But have you guys ever bought some miniatures off of someone else, split a box set with somebody maybe, or done some eBay rescues, and you're like, damn, I wish I had the instructions for this. Then you've got to try and go on Google and find some bootleg instructions that somebody has scanned into Google or something. It can be a real pain. So having some official, really clear copies of the rules available right on their website is really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's why it might be a little bit boring, but when I do unboxings, I try to do them a bit slower and especially when I'm recording quite a lot at once, I have to go over the same like little intros and use the same wording, but I try to go a little bit slower so if someone did see that, they could build along or like pause it and look at the instructions.
Very, very
Because
nice.
because when I got back into the hobby, I had the same sort of issue. I mean, a lot of the stuff I bought brand new, but it's nice to have the instructions there. Like you said, if I got something on eBay or if someone gives you a miniature,
Exactly. You're not sitting there trying to chase down, like, wait, how does this go together?
yeah.
All right, we are looking for AO1. There we go. So far, from what I'm seeing, another improvement on the Games Workshop style system. Okay, so I've got I've got AO1 here, AO2 on the same area of the sprue, AO3 right next to it, AO4 right next to it, AO5 is right over here, AO6 right over here, and AO7. The whole model is in the one spot, and the numbers, one through A1 through A7, all in one spot. If you've ever, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced when you build a Warhammer model, it can be like you want part, sprue A part 17, and so you go find it, and that's like now you need A18, and you're looking and looking and looking and looking, and it might be on the complete opposite side of the sprue. Sometimes it might even be on the next sprue over, and you're like, but these two parts
Yeah.
are supposed to be together. So obviously they've taken the time to number their parts after they've decided where the placement of each part is going to be on the design of the sprue. So that way it makes sense when you're trying to sort it all out. This is all like I can look at this one section of the sprue and know this is all Anakin. That's hugely helpful.
So Gap Games, the hobby store that I'm affiliated with today, they're in Brisbane. I'm in Adelaide, so I'm not local. But they're doing a pretty big release for 10th edition. They've got like a person that's dressed up as their mascot, which is a knight, like old medieval style knight. They've got someone that's cosplaying as a space marine, and then they've got another woman cosplaying. I forget what she's cosplaying, but she's like meant to be like a famous sort of cosplayer.
Nice.
It's
And
kind of
instead of meeting this badass cosplaying lady, you're here with me.
yeah. I mean, it was a little bit short notice to just rush out and buy a plane ticket.
Oh, okay. So like Gap Games isn't local to you.
Yeah, it's in Brisbane, which is Queensland, and I'm in South Australia, Adelaide. So I have gone there before, but it was many moons ago. It's a pretty nice state. Like it's a lot more modern than Adelaide is.
That's cool.
It's probably like closer to what a California or something like that would be for you. It was just quite modern and yeah, quite different.
Hey, Freak the Gamer. Sup, guys? What up, baby? I just did a little unboxing portion of just kind of showing everybody what's in the box for Shatterpoint. And now I am putting together the minis. First, the light side, so I have some models to play with tomorrow. And then later in the evening, I'm going to try working on some terrain. So that way we've got some terrain to play on tomorrow. Pretty worn out doing yard work. I'm sorry, brother.
So I hope Freak had a awesome birthday as well.
It seemed like he had a great time. Freak, what did you think of your birthday? I just realized I've got my finger up Annie's midsection there.
Can't blame you. Everyone wants to have their finger up Annie's midsection.
Little fun story for you of about Freak's birthday party. So he had rented out these really, really big, nice inflatable pools for his birthday party. One for the kids that had like a climbable walls and water slide and little fire hydrant thing and like a little bucket that would fill up with water and dump down into like the little sitting resting area below to for people just chilling and being refreshed. And it was super hot. I think it was just hitting triple digits, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it was super refreshing. Like I said, uh, being triple digits, and my car had no AC, so we rode up there. And his place is about an hour away from mine, and so just all that in a car, baking with no heat. I was
Yeah.
ready to get nice and refreshed in some cool water.
So as soon as you got there, you're like, move out the way. Get
Hey,
out the way, kids.
that's right. Um, and then for the adults, he had an even bigger, like, do you know what a slip and slide is?
Yeah.
This was a huge inflatable slide that went down onto a slip and slide with the basin at the end for you to splash into. Really big. And it was meant for the adults, although everybody loved getting on that thing. Well, everybody, including Freak, was getting on there, having a good time. And so once I got out there to start, playing in the water and stuff like that, Freak is like, let's go on, let's go on to the slide together because it was twin lanes, right? I don't think that was meant for um, a heavy guy like myself and Freak to go at the same time. So what happened is he told me I could launch first, and so I launched, and then he launched, and at some point he slid just fine, but at some point I guess the my side deflated a little bit and sprung me in the air trampoline style, and so I pop up out of the side of the slide, and I'm riding down like the edge of the slide for part of it, and I get stuck like halfway. It was pretty funny. But then the second time I get on and I go a solution down, and I where the slide, levels out into the slip and slide part was, man, I hit the ground rough, and I've got a cracked rib on my left side from my childhood, where we had these bunk beds, and I guess I was tossing and turning in my sleep, and I had kicked the ladder off of my top bunk, and the metal hook that held the ladder into place, by hooking onto the top bunk, the hooks were exposed up, and I rolled off of it in my sleep, and I smacked my rib directly onto those hooks. And so I've had these like, busted up ribs, and ribs never really heal all the way. It's like I've re-injured it several times throughout my life. And so most of the time I feel fine until something that happens to aggravate it. And all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I can't breathe for like 3 weeks. I went down the slide, and it felt like I just hit the ground rib first. Like, oh man. So like I've had like kinetic KT tape over my ribs all week, and oh man, it's like coughing, sneezing, sometimes just breathing hard just agitates it. I'm like, man, it takes real talent to hurt yourself on an inflatable slide, inflatable water slide. But it's that yin yang thing. Freak, I think, had a pretty good birthday. and a great day celebrating him. Somebody needed, the to pay the cosmic or the karmic toll that day. So he's like, "Man, I'm sorry you got hurt on my birthday." I said, "Hey, man, you got food poisoning when we went on vacation. Okay, it was my turn. It's my turn in the barrel, damn it." But it was a great time. Freak being the great guy he was, one of his daughters made him some sushi for his birthday, and he made sure to take it off of the party table. He put it up in the fridge and made sure to set some sushi aside uh, for me when I got there. And as soon as I got there, it's like, "Wait, come over here, get this real quick."
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
guy's got a big heart.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a good time. Another thing, so if one thing I've known in all the times of going over to Freak's house to hang out with him is that he has a a major thrill out of hunting flies at his house. Like like fly swatters are one thing, but this man gears up. So
Like
like
Elmer Fudd.
yeah, like he's always had these like electric fly swatters that kind of tase the flies as you swack them. Eh, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they make a crackle and pop when you swing at them in midair with these things. It's like it's just like you're tasing a fly to death. And so he's always had like a basic one of those. And when we'll be doing lunch over at his house, sometimes we'll just be chatting in like his kitchen, and he'll go on the hunt for these flies, right? Anyways, so I was in a group chat with him and his wonderful family, and he said, "Okay, because you guys keep asking me for a birthday list, I've decided to put a few ideas down here on Amazon wish list. Just if you want any ideas." Again, he's like, "I'm not requesting anything from anyone, but if there is if you are looking for something, here's some ideas I had." One of the things on there was, so like I said, he had a basic electric fly swatter. This was like a Rolls Royce of electric fly swatters that was on his list.
Like a flamethrower, basically.
And then oh yeah, just a really nice one, more functions, more glitz, more zaps. And this one you could even set up in like a little charging base, and it could zap flies just as they go by. He's like, "Yeah, you got to watch this one around kids because you can't come up and touch it." So he had one that was just like a fancier version of his electric fly swatter, and then also on his list was something called um, Bug Assault, and it was a salt shotgun for flies. I said, both of these presents are so you, man. And you know what we did for an hour and a half at his birthday party? We went around just killing flies. So me, him, and my oldest daughter, we went around the garage and the pool party area. And one of us had his old, more basic electric fly swatter. One of us had the fancy electric fly swatter. One of us had the salt gun. And we were just going around just killing flies for like an hour and a half. It was fun and oddly therapeutic.
You do know that's how serial killers start, right?
They start with animals. Flies don't count.
Poor flies. It's like comes along. It's like you're not an animal. You don't count.
That's right. Okay, no sound. Have you ever seen one of these bug salt guns?
Hmm. I didn't know people took fly squashing so seriously.
Super serious.
I used to like doing it with a tea towel.
Oh yeah, that is often my main go-to. That and the more traditional one. But we went high tech at Freak's birthday party. Check this out. Okay, I've got the sound off, so I'm just going to show a few seconds of this way you can see.
So it's
So
like a
this is what it
Nerf
looks
gun,
like.
but for flies.
Yeah, it looks a lot like a Nerf gun.
Probably more
Do not
dangerous.
shoot it. Eyes are stop. Who is not liking streaming this? On? Okay, we're gonna stop screen sharing for a minute so I can turn down the quality. Ten 1080p. No, we don't need the 1080p for that. Okay. Share screen bug assault. Go. Okay. Here we go. Oh, that is much smoother on 420 or whatever. So you fill it up with salt. It's even got a little, siding on there. It's even got like legit safety on there, like safety buttons. Oh wait, the commercial's not going to show how it's used. Oh my goodness. Okay, well I'm not going to keep showing too much because if I go on to somebody else, this was the official commercial on their official channel for the product, but I don't want to go on to somebody's review video or whatever and rip off their content. But yeah, it's basically one of those, and then kind of like a Nerf gun, it just concentrates air and blows the salt into the bugs at a high rate of speed.
Uh,
Oh, also they make apparently random attachments for it. Like
grenades.
one of them was a thing you could put on. Like they make a laser sighter for it, so you can do laser targeting. And then also they make like a clamp for your phone to record from down the muzzle of the gun. It's pretty good. It's pretty interesting.
So if you get a really good kill, you can brag about it to other fly killers.
They're like, use this for content creation. Like, okay.
Uh, a separate channel, maybe. new content. Freak the fly killer.
Freak, if you're still here, okay, if you decided to turn that into content, what would your new fly killing channel be called? Actually, that's a question for everybody. Give us your votes for the name of a good fly killing channel down below. Let's see. Oh, hey, our theme of being salty on the channel, and also, like pest control. It could be like salt control.
And also, if any werewolves and vampires are in, it might work on them as well. Any demons lurking around.
You know, it's funny because fun with salt from Gamers with Coffee, nice. Um, when I showed up, I forgot to. I had forgotten to pick up the salt ahead of time, so we stopped by the grocery store on our way to his house and just picked up a thing of salt. And he's when he got the gun, he said, "I was wondering why you were just showing up with a random can of salt." I was like, "Okay, are you trying to tell us something? Am I being hunted by demons or ghosts? Are you going to
Yeah, they
start
don't.
building salt circles?"
You're trying to say they don't season their food enough or something?
Happy birthday! You need the salt. As his wife, Mrs. Freak, is a wonderful, wonderful cook, and she
Nice.
uses she uses a great amount of seasoning all the time.
You was just worried that a towel player might be there.
That's what I was uh, um, telling. Or that's what Lily had said when I was like, "Oh, we got to hurry up and get Freak some salt for his salt gun." What if she's like, "I'm sure he's got salt." I was like, "What if he doesn't have enough to fill a gun with, though?" She's like, "You could just start talking about the Tau." I was like, "Oh, wise guy here." She, in the next room, she's just like, "Yeah." Interestingly, before I realized I was going to be playing Anakin in Shatterpoint, like just a few days before I decided I wanted this army, um, I saw a video in my feed on how to do the Anakin Skywalker lightsaber spin, where he spins it in front of his body, then behind the back, and then he comes around for a killing headshot. You know, and so of course, me being me, I watched the video like 10 times, and then I went and got one of my kendo out of the closet, and I was just practicing for a while. My wife came home. She's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I learned how to do the Anakin." But apparently, that was just days before. It was a precursor to me uh, playing Anakin's army in Shatterpoint. I
So
mean,
you,
I decided I wanted this army because of Ahsoka, but still, nonetheless.
because I guess what is it? Anakin when he's a Jedi, so it's his army. Then
Exactly.
because that's what I quite liked about Clone Wars. You see Ahsoka when she's obviously quite innocent and quite jovial and fun and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, she's
And
not quite jaded yet.
and it's funny how much she annoys Anakin, even though Anakin was like that to Obi-Wan when he was younger.
Is this what I do to people?
Yeah, because they made Anakin quite serious in like the animated series. That is not
Oh
the.
yeah, he was very, very cool in the animated series. Ugh. I guess I'll just have to be careful. I was thinking about leaving the head off so I could paint the head separately, but he doesn't sit very well in the neck hole. And I'm playing him tomorrow, and I'm afraid that if I don't glue the head in, I'm going to lose
It's funny you mentioned that.
it. Nice.
Someone's painting a head separately, just as you said it.
Yeah, I did. I'm going to try a little bit of blue tack, but again, I don't want it to get lost while I'm while I'm playing. I did the blue tack thing with this guy's head, just that way I could take a few pictures. Um,
Yeah.
but I'll be taking his head out and painting his head separately too.
I mean, I guess with Anakin, it depends because it depends what model I'm painting. A lot of times I stick the heads on, but with Space Marines, because they have that big collar, I tend not
Yeah,
to put them on
and I
because
think
it's
it might
hard
be.
hard to paint.
Yeah, I think it might be okay with Anakin too because it's black robes around his head, so his face is quite open and reachable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I am going to go ahead and glue it.
Yeah, if you glue it, then it's just a future Methos problem.
That's right. Future Mythos will be like, "Damn you, past Mythos!"
Yeah, it's like, how dare you do this to me?
All right. I guess it's not preset which bases go with what, because they seem to be like a repeating of, you know, a repeat of the same four bases. So I guess you just stick them on whichever one you want.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same with Marvel from what I've saw. It's just some have like Spider-Man has a collapsed bit of building that he's sort of attached to on the side. So sometimes they have a little bit more scenic stuff that the characters will have. General Grievous looks awesome for that game.
I haven't seen Grievous.
Yeah, he's on what I was saying, like a he's got the base, but then he's got like a collapse that looks like a Jedi statue
Nice.
that's collapsed and on its side, and he's standing on it with all four of his arms out with lightsabers in each one of them, and his cloak flowing.
Nice. Boop. All right. I think I've picked out for Anakin. It'll be this base here that is mostly like that ship-like surface, and then just a little bit of dirt around the edges. It's yeah, it's funny. I'm being a little picky about these bases because there's some like really cool detail on these bases, and I don't want to just cover it all up by putting his foot over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh man, 940, and I have one model built. There's no way I'm going to have the terrain done for tomorrow. We're going to have to play with some of our Warhammer terrain again. Oni was like, "You need to get to building. Why are you still texting? Get to building." I'm like, "I can't do it today. I've got family coming over today." Which was Wednesday when we talked. I'm just now getting my army together. Ooh. By the way, this is that good plastic, so works perfectly well with plastic cement like your Tamiya, or I am using Mr. Cement Deluxe from Mr. Hobby.
Yeah, I'm using SMS, which is an Australian brand, but it's exactly like the Tamiya.
Nice.
So I just thought I'd support local, but yeah, it even has the same sort of little brush and
Yeah, the Mr. Hobby brand here, whereas the Tamiya stuff has a really fine brush. This one's a bit of a wider nylon brush, but
yeah. Funny you mentioned that. This one is a little bit longer than the Tamiya. I mean, you probably can't really see it on camera, but it's probably about twice as long, which is kind of good because when you get to the end, it kind of never reaches, even though you can
oh yeah.
extend it. It's super annoying to extend it.
All right, guys, that is Shatterpoint model number 1, done
Ooh.
and dusted, ready to go. Well, as far as building goes, but hey, one step at a time, right?
That's like me. Say if I get an army box or whatever, I'll try and build this in one day. I get a couple of squads done or whatever, or character, and I mean, I'm super fussy and picky as well when it comes to Warhammer. Those models don't have as many mold lines and stuff, do they?
No, so far, I guess because they're brand new molds and stuff like that. But yeah, thankfully, I'm not really seeing any mold lines. All right, we're moving on to the Clan Kreese Mandalorians. So this is Clan Kreese Mandalorian female because it comes with a male and female pair. So I'm going to imagine this one is Sasha Banks. Since Sasha Banks was one of Bo-Katan's troopers in The Mandalorian. All right, F1 and F2.
Yeah, I got super full when I was watching Mandalorian from all that eye candy.
Definitely lots. Okay, but which eye candy was your favorite?
You just brought it up.
Sasha Banks.
Yeah, probably.
Very nice.
It's funny, the woman that plays, the armorer,
Uh-huh.
like she is super attractive, but obviously she is a Mandalorian that always wears the helmet.
Yeah. I had no idea how pretty she was until we were looking up one day. My wife and I were watching Supernatural,
Yeah,
and we came across the arc with God's sister, and we were like, "Oh man, who plays her?" And we were looking it up, and we are like, I think my wife found it first. She's like, "Do you know who else she plays? She's the armorer from the Mandalorian, the chieftain lady." We were like, "What?"
yeah. I was just looking up something Mandalorian, and obviously it was an episode that she was in, and it just had a picture. I'm like, I would have never have known. I mean, she doesn't have like she has a nice voice, but it's just you don't know until you know.
Right, and also the voice she projects as
Yeah.
the Din chieftain. It's like a voice of a strong female.
Mm.
It doesn't immediately bring to mind like this is a super attractive person. But oh man, when I
I
found
mean,
out it was
I was going to say I'm also super weird. I like some of the aliens in Star Wars.
oh, of course.
ever
Oh
since
my
Jabba's,
gosh,
ever since Jabba's palace, damn you, Jabba.
yes. Also, like the Twi'lek in the bar on not Mandalorian, but the Boba Fett series, the Book
Is
of
that the
Boba
one
Fett.
that was like humans, like flesh, Caucasian sort of skin color?
There were so many in that one bar. But yeah, the lady in charge, I think the Caucasian one, she was super attractive. But like all of the ones in that bar were just like I was like, man, I am full fledged Twi'lek appreciation in this moment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. Like, well, aliens, hurry up and come to Earth. Hopefully, they're not like xenomorphs. They're more like that.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you asked for a queen, did you? Here you go. Oh, not that kind of queen.
You asked for a queen? Get away from her, you bitch. The alien queen. Whew. But yeah, but uh, some people I think from the Star Trek Captain Kirk era,
Yeah.
are all already onto the alien lady appreciation scene, and then of course I'm a big Mass Effect fan. I think Mass Effect is one of my top fandoms ever, and so that's a video game that teaches you to
How to
love
get with
aliens.
aliens.
Yeah.
How to pick up an alien. It's the only reason I play.
Speaking of which, and completely not related to getting with aliens, I need to finish Andromeda. But also, I need
Yeah.
to get with that alien.
That's it. It's almost like a long lost like relationship. You're like, oh, I
Oh,
miss her.
hey, the chat's been going. For my chat wasn't updating, and it just updated all at once here. Apparently, I've
Yeah,
been
mine was
ignoring
the
some
same.
people. Mini War Mutt, hey dorks. Dave says this is different. Some Shatterpoint. That's right. Putting together some Shatterpoint. I just finished Anakin a little bit ago. Boop.
This is different. Human on alien interspecies erotica.
You guys need help. Yeah, we need help, and hopefully it'll be a sexy alien lady to give it to
That's
us.
it. The Queen Xenomorph. Gotta love her tongue.
Oh man,
It's
you guys,
deadly.
you guys think some of the things I say are bad, but it's what's filtered out that remains the filthiest. but Brian's right. We do need help. Alien lady with 3 boobs. That's right. Total Recall style. Yep, there's another alien species to appreciate. Dave gets it.
Yeah, have you? I remember I asked you once before, but have you seen Paul yet?
Paul?
Yeah, it's just that's the name of the movie.
It
That's
doesn't sound familiar.
It's got Simon Pegg, who's in Shaun of the Dead. It's got Nick Frost, and it's
Okay.
got Seth Rogen doing the voice of Paul, which is a grey alien, like a Roswell sort of alien.
Oh, okay. Oh, and that's
Yeah,
what Lupus says. No, Paul style.
yeah. So yeah, you need to watch it sometimes. The Paul the alien loves Reese's Pieces, but yeah, as well they thought he was gonna anal probe them, and he gets all angry. He's like, "Why does everyone think I'm gonna anal probe you? What are we doing? Trying to harbor farts and stuff?" And he comes in with a bagel on his finger, and he's like, "Anyone want a bagel?" Got his finger through the hole. It's an awesome film, but yeah, so many quotable lines and stuff. Yeah, don't want to give away too much, but it's got some really good cameos and other stuff in that.
I'll definitely have to check it out. Darklight Dreamer says, "Hey everyone, I'm Darklight Dreamer and I'm funkin' hungry for some Shatterpoint." I think just before we got started, Darklight, I was just telling G here your compliments about how his editing really made that food review like really excellent.
It was your personality and those huge like pterodactyl tenders.
Not gonna lie, I could use one of those huge pterodactyl tenders right now. He says, "Great job with editing for real, G."
I appreciate it, man.
Darklight. This is Anakin, my first miniature of my army.
So weird. I haven't done a human skin tone on a head for so long. So, normally I'm painting green.
I was about to say, you just paint the Space Marines captain's face all green.
Yeah, it looks like Piccolo. Dragon Ball Z.
Got to give him elf ears to make him Piccolo.
Yeah.
Maybe a turban head. Hype G, the Drop Bear Commando. Speaking of G, my wonderful, wonderful co-star tonight, I'd like to remind everyone that you can find G the Hypersapien, both of his channels, Funkin' Hungry and his work channel, G the Hypersapien, down in our link tree to the Friends of the Frost and Fists down below. All right, now we need the helmet. Man, the fact that they put all the sprues you need for each for each character all in one location just makes it so much easier. Anakin has +4 in badassery and -3 to flirting.
Yeah, his flirting is just moaning about himself and how bad his life is. Oh, they don't want me to be a Jedi Master. She's like, okay, but what's this got to do with what's about to happen? I'm surprised he ended up having any kids the way he went on. So he actually got a chance to get some action in there somehow. He was probably complaining at the time.
Maybe Padme just did the shh or shh.
They
The whole
probably got a droid to come in and collect some of his man juices.
Oh goodness.
trying to work out a way to say that PG, and then it probably came out worse than just saying what it is.
Darklight here did a quote. It's not fair, crediting it to Anakin most of the time. I think the Anakin from Shatterpoint here is actually the more serious and badass Clone Clone Wars era Anakin.
Yeah. He must have had some contact with a female by then.
You're probably still not good at talking to them, but
yeah, the way he speaks to Ahsoka.
if Qui-Gon were still alive, he'd have taught him how to talk to women. Not gonna lie though, Anakin did eventually settle into some smoothness. My favorite example of that is when Padme is flirting with him, and she's basically like, "Well, you can't do anything about it because Jedi are forbidden to love." And he puts on that smile and he goes, "Well, I mean, Jedi are encouraged to learn all about compassion, which some would say is the ultimate form of love." It sounds like some kind of line he would give a girl right before doing the F boy, swipe across the lips and trying to take them away. We are supposed to exercise compassion, the ultimate of all forms of love. Anakin the F boy.
You can't beat Han Solo though. When Princess Leia's "I love you," his response is the best out of all of Star
That's
Wars.
true. I know.
And it has to be Harrison Ford as well. Just
I do that sometimes. Lily will tell me she loves me, and I'll say, "I know." And she's like, "You're a dork." Compassion equals mouth stuff? Yes. I just meant he says it in that smooth, macking on a babe kind of way. That's all I meant.
you must have learned that from Master Yoda.
I should have let these hips dry before moving on to work on the other parts of the model.
Isn't that a famous song? These hips don't dry.
I was looking for the pun, but you beat me to it. We found the loophole. I am so compassionate. Mouth stuff compassion is. A giving lover you must be.
I'm glad that you did the voice.
Okay. I want to finish this model now, but instead, we will set this over here and let those hips dry.
You're trying to use the Jedi mind trick on the model. It sounded like he was talking to it, telling it. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Everything Anakin knows about women, he learned from a single conversation with Yoda, which explains a lot, honestly. You will dry so I can put you together. How are you today, Darklight, my man? How is my badass bro? All right, I've just got 2 more pieces to glue onto that one, but we've got to move on to the next one while she dries. I hate when some models, not going to lie, it's been a day. I'm sorry, brother. Brother, did you ever watch that trailer for Star Wars Outlaws? Man, I put it into my watch history so that way I would remember to finish it later, and then I totally forgot, not going to lie. But I'm going to go to Denny's with Kane after work, so that's good. Nice. Well, you and Kane raise a glass to your brother when you get there. All right, time for the Mandalorian mail, which is on the F sprue. Oh, hey, so what do you think about the fact that we got to keep the War Boss on bike?
Yeah, amazing.
Everybody
I
was,
can't say I used one. Is that the one that was in Legends?
yeah. Well, they had announced it was going to Legends, but they ended up getting 40K rules for them after all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I think a lot of people are probably going to be excited about that.
And I'm wondering if they're going to do some squig off actual Games Workshop plastic models because they seem to be pushing the rules for them.
It is possible, although part of me wonders if some of these things that look like they were going to get the X but didn't, part of me wonders if for some of this it's a last hurrah. Where
until until the codex comes around and they get rid of stuff or whatever.
exactly
Yeah, like so people can use it from now till
now
I
to
don't know.
Codex. Yep.
I think it's like May or something like that next year that it
Yeah.
comes out. But yeah, I guess we have to wait and see what they do with the Orc Codex.
Here's the other Mandalorian. Mandalorian clan increase. Mandalorian male. Reaction video win. I guess. I mean, I guess I could do one over on Wolfbrother Gaming since it's a video game. Although, I'll be honest with you, I think my Wolfbrother Gaming channel's been dead for like a year. Unlike Freak, who, by the way, Freak the Gamer's been making quite the push lately. He's been doing a great job. I have just. I enjoyed doing gaming for a little bit, but then I wanted to be able to continue Final Fantasy 14 and start doing kind of like Drek with some, raids and stuff like that with some of our friends. And I think our friends are, hilarious enough that it would be great content. But turns out that a lot of the raid stuff, when they were helping me with the end of Endwalker, my computer just can't handle the graphics of all the effects and stuff like that going off in the big fights and stuff like that. So if I could handle the graphics, I'd probably get back to streaming slash YouTubing Wolfbrother Gaming. But as of the moment, it doesn't seem quite feasible. Hellworks. I want Sith. The Sith in this starter box are very good from what I played. Like Asajj, one of the main characters for the bad guys, other than Darth Maul. Asajj is amazing because she's a Force assassin, and she's got two really great abilities. One is that when she attacks a main character, she gets to do two things. Well, if she attacks any character, like any actual characters, um, she gets her Force points back. And if she attacks a main character, she can also heal herself in addition to getting Force points back. She's pretty amazing. So I think you would love and enjoy playing Dark Side, my brother. She is absolutely the bomb. Darth Maul is okay. Um, he's got great utility, and actually, he's a really good leader unit because, like, you know, uh, he can use Force to reposition himself or another Dark Side unit close to him um, for a Force point, which is, like I said, really good utility. But Asajj is like, and he does some okay damage, some pretty good damage. But Asajj is like damage, um, and damage, tanking, healing. I mean, she is a pretty complete package.
So what you're trying to say is he's half the man that she is.
He's half. He's half the badass. But yeah, like it's funny because Maul is so hardcore in theory, but man, on this board, Asajj is the queen. Although I think that was pretty evident in Clone Wars too, when she was kicking everyone's ass and only Anakin was able to stop her. She was a beast. Gonna have to take a Sith squad and reskin it to look like Darth Nexus's squad. Oh, you've definitely got to get gosh, what was it I named her in that series? The girl that Darth Nexus eventually uh took on, and she had like a necromancy force power. I forgot what I named her, or what her Darth name was. Cersei, that's right. Only instead of turning men into pigs like the Greek Cersei, this one would turn them into corpses and would in turn turn those corpses into zombies. So a very underworld version of Cersei. The Dark Jedi Priestess. All right, we are almost done with the second Mandalorian. We're going to come back here to Zeleda and finish her up. This neck hole is not being as supportive as I would like. In other gaming news, video game wise, we got in the release of the new Final Fantasy 16. We've loved it since the demo was out. Immediately after my wife played the demo, we pre ordered it. And she is playing it right now. For 2 days, I've been banned from the living room. Okay, not really banned. She's been very polite and paused it whenever I come around the corner. And it's not necessarily that I'm banned, of course. It's that I'm just trying not to catch any spoilers because I'm going to play through it myself. But right now, I'm finishing Cyberpunk on the PlayStation. I'm trying to finish that because I don't want to quit one, like 100-hour RPG to start another one because then I'll never come back to this one.
Yeah, it's always annoying when you come back, after a fairly long time to a game. So you remember it and stuff, but you kind of almost want to start again just to get back
Exactly.
into the feel of the game again.
Darklight, did you get my message? I've only cleared 2 of the 5 zones in the city. like cleared out all the side stories, the side missions, the gigs, and the crimes, and have already got max street cred. And I still have 3 more zones to go through. Uh, with the Force Amplifier field in the Dark Jedi Temple that let her reanimate the entire battlefield. You should tell the story of how that worked out. So we were Monjour. Good morning, Elstadation, my brother. Good to see you, my friend. So we were playing a homebrew RPG of Star Wars back in the day, and we were playing some gray Jedi that had been removed from the Order during our training for one reason or other, that and were rebrought together for the purposes of this campaign. And for one reason or other, most of the time, unless you've already made it as a Jedi Knight or whatever, they don't normally just let gray Jedi go. Usually, if you don't work out as a Jedi, you get to put to work as one of the Order's Force sensitive somewhere. And according to the different mythos, a Force sensitive could be doing work around the temple in service to the Jedi. Sometimes they're used because of their Force sensitive abilities. Sometimes they're used as some of the interpreters or liaisons with, the Jedi in political areas, like, in their dealings with, Coruscant and stuff like that. Sometimes these Force sensitives, if they were raised and, they didn't make it through their training with acquiring any life skills, sometimes they get put on a farm somewhere. But ultimately, it's usually too dangerous to just let somebody with not very good control of their force powers, but lots of latent talent. It's not safe to just let them go wherever they want to. And so usually they're put in service to the Jedi somewhere. But for whatever reason, each of us in our backstories had different reasons why we were able to get out and go do our own thing. And anyways, one such who left as a runaway was, my character's childhood friend, Cersei. And, she was eventually picked up by the dark side and turned into a priest, a priestess for the dark side with necromancy, her forced powers manifested in necromantic abilities. And anyway, so she was in this temple that amplified her power. She was able to raise just swarms of dead, and it was one of those like death planets, kind of like what do they call it in Star Wars or in Knights of the Old Republic, like Istvan 5. They killed. What about if you're trying to force it while it's sensitive? Ooh. I imagine that usually works out pretty painfully.
We're talking about Star Wars, not Spaceballs.
But anyways, earlier in the series, my character had run across his twin brother, aka Darklight, in the series, and he was very force gifted as a consular. And so, in order to keep him imprisoned, they had these force dampeners in the walls. And I very carefully used my tech. I rolled kind of a tech ability to try prying these force dampeners out of the walls. And he was like, "It's going to be a really high roll." And so I rolled for each one. And on one of them, I rolled like a triple 3, which is kind of the equivalent to rolling a nat 20 in D&D. Uh, I rolled a triple 10 because it was a D10 system, kind of loosely based on White Wolf, but with more combat. And so I managed on one of them to roll triple 10, and I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but you've got yourself a force dampener. And so I just put it in my item bag, and we've like never touched it for the rest of the series. This was pretty early. It was like episode 2 of that series where I broke my brother out of a force prison, right? Well, we meet like towards the end game. We meet this childhood friend of myself and Darklight's, and she's become a dark priestess, kind of under the control of Darth, the main bad guy, Darth Nexus. And so I I uh, I tell her that I'm gonna have to stop her, and I ask my friends to hold back. I'm like, she's my friend from my childhood, and I need to be the one to do this. And she's like, "Are you sure you want to face me alone?" She says, "You have no idea what I've become since we last talked." And I'm like, "I know." And she says, "Well, I'm not going to fight you alone." And she starts to, do the thing where she starts to raise bodies around her. And I reach into my bag and I flip the force dampener switch. And I kind of skip the whole boss fight because she didn't really have any fighting capability. She was just focused on the necromancy. And so I just turned on the force dampener and you know, took her down. It was funny. He's like, "Man, I forgot you had that. That you skipped that whole boss fight." Okay. Boop. This here is the female Mandalorian from Clan Kreese. Although the neck angle looks a bit off, but it's the only way it really fit in. I'm sure I've done something wrong. I'm very bad at having a sense of which way is pointing towards the camera. There he goes. Okay. Elstination, did you see? I managed to crank out the video in time with, a little, around about 3 hours left of the giveaway, which is still honestly not great timing, but I did something. And I picked up a couple of tickets as well. In that same vein of picking up items early in the series and you bringing it to a use later in the game, there was another part in that same RP where we were going through a Sith base, right? And everybody was rolling loot rolls and trying to see what kind of gear. And like, people were making some really good loot rolls. So like one of our friends got like a full, dark side suit, of armor. One got a really cool lightsaber upgrade. And then when it came to my loot roll, guess who rolled a nat 1? That'd be me. And so he, being funny, and our GM said, "Well, okay, well, what you find is a homemade sex video filmed in the barracks called Soldier on Soldier." And everybody laughed. And I said, "Okay, fine. I'm going to make this work." I did,
So
buddy. Sorry.
what did someone get for the bad roll?
That was my bad roll. Oh. I get it now. I did, buddy. Sorry, I forgot to comment as I was running around that day, but thank you so much. It's super appreciated. Oh, it's my pleasure, sir. And like I said, I intended to do it before, and I apologize it took me so long. So anyway, so again, the rest of the game played out. Most of us had forgotten about it, but one of our group members had put a lot of points into computer hacking, and this is like one of the main battles, right? We've gathered together like elements of of different areas to come together for this big war with the Sith. And so there was like the Republic was there, in mass, and there was we brought together some of the space pirates as the scoundrels to be part of this fight. We brought together some of the Mandalorians because at the time they were, uh, it's Knights of the Old Republic times, so they'll just go to wherever the biggest fight is. But some of them can also be hired out for mercenary services, and so basically we talked them into A, coming to the biggest fight, and also B, that they'd be handsomely, we managed to charm them and tell them they'd be handsomely rewarded for their part, of the war and stuff like that. And so we basically hire them as really awesome mercenaries. They come to the battle, and like everything comes together, and our side starts winning. But then they bring out this ship that's like a huge communication array and manage to block all of the comms on the good guy side, and without being able to receive any word from like squad leaders and stuff like that, formations start breaking up, and basically with no communication, the Republic quickly starts losing the dogfight in space. And so our team gets sent as a strike. Well, our team is like one of um, four strike teams that are sent to the satellite, the communication ship, to knock out the thing that was causing communication blackout. And typical RPG logic, we were the only strike team to make it that far. That made it to the satellite alive. And so, anyways, we get there, we defeat the boss there, and they're like, "Okay, we've got communication to the Republic restored." And we're all like, "Yes, excellent." And they're like, "Is there anything else you need while we have access to this?" And I said, "Can you hack all of the enemy ships the way they just hacked ours?" They're like, "Yeah, you want me to just turn off their communications like they did ours?" I said, "No." And I pulled out a disc from my bag and I said, "Upload this to all of the enemy ships." And it was the home video, soldier on soldier.
Yeah.
And so, like, you've got all these enemy ships that are like in serious dogfights, and their primary targeting screen just turns into, adult film, adult amateur films. Hilarious. And that's how we won the war. And the my commanding officer was like, "Of course, history may not remember all of your achievements this day." I'm like, "That's fair, sir." I could see where they would leave that out of the history books.
One to tell the grandkids. Well, the way we won.
It's funny because I was kind of embarrassed when he's like, "And what you get is this hollow disc called Soldier on Soldier." And everybody had a good laugh. I was truthfully embarrassed, and I was like, kind of being defiant when I said, "Watch, I'm going to keep this and make it work. I'm going to
Yeah.
make this useful." And everybody thought I was being dirty when I said I'd make this disc work. But no, it had a real in-game use. Darn it. Hello, all. Happy freaking Friday. Good to see you, X Gear Commander. All right, guys. So that's three of my skirmish force put together. There's Anakin, House Kree's Mandalorian 1 and House Kree's Mandalorian 2. So my force is coming along. All right, what is model number 3? Lord Maul. We'll save that for Freak. Gar Saxon. That's the guy I could remember his name. Again, we'll leave that for Freak. Super Commandos. I got to remember who goes with what. I remember Kreese goes with Ahsoka. Now, would that be here, or is this all just game rules? I think these are just core rules. Does it tell me in the unit cards? 1030. Oh, man. So I think there are 8 miniatures on my team, and I've got 3 built. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting to the terrain tonight. Okay, what about on the unit cards? Does it tell me here?
Just have to use a can of Coke and stuff like that.
I've got my Warhammer terrain, so at least that'll be okay. Okay, cool. I can just use these cards here. Oh, when Darklight entered the chat, we talked a little bit about my food review that I did and Funkin' Hungry edited and posted on his channel. But it occurs to me, not everyone here may have seen it. So if anyone wants to see this chubby guy do a food review on the amazing channel Funkin' Hungry, then let me link that here. Hey, 116 views. All right. I don't remember how much you usually get in
Yeah, it just depends really.
But there is a collaboration between me and G here, Funkin' Hungry. Still can't believe how big that tender was.
Yeah, the ones here are tiny, really. You need to get like 6 of them just to feel satisfied. There, you could basically have one and be all good.
The gantries, the tower. Huh? Why do I feel like there are units missing here? Anakin, check. Rex. Somehow I missed Rex and the clone troopers. They're here, and Ahsoka. Apparently I just skipped over them before. All right, Captain Rex. That's who we're doing next. And this will be the Bs. B1 and B2 is where we're going to start. Right next to Anakin's model. Oh. Bo-Katan comes with the option to do helmeted or unhelmeted.
Oh, that's cool. I'm one of those weirdos that normally does no helmet on my Marines. Like, obviously not every single one, but I do quite like a no helmet.
Well, someone with your painting skills, I'm sure, wouldn't be intimidated by painting up some faces.
Here's a little. I may have bought myself a Primarch.
What?
And he may already be built.
That is awesome. Very nice. I can't wait to see your work on that.
So I'm.
So I see you committed to ultras.
It was just I've wanted him and Abaddon or whatever people call him.
Abaddon is how I normally pronounce it.
Yeah, I say it the wrong way.
Or actually, I think I freely switch between saying Abaddon and Abaddon.
Yeah,
I think it's probably I'm easily influenced, so it just depends on which version of what I listen to, like audiobook wise. What I listened to before me saying it that time. Because even the official voice actors of the GW books aren't consistent,
Yeah, definitely. I kind of cringe though when people say "wag."
Admittedly, that used to be me before I learned better.
That's fair enough. So many people do it, but sometimes even in like the Games Workshop, even though they say it one way, like some people will say it the other way or whatever. It's like I'm watching lore, and when I hear it, I'm like, "That's it, unsubscribe." Turn it up, throw my laptop out the window. But no, with Gilliman, I kind of might have to magnetize the head. I do want to do the face, the non-helmet, but the helmet is pretty damn cool on him.
It is very cool.
But yeah, I've wanted him and Abaddon for a while. I've kind of, when I got back into the hobby, I just thought they was awesome models to have. Like, I probably won't likely have a Chaos Space Marine army, but wouldn't mind getting the Primarchs and stuff like that. So I do kind of like the Mortarian lore as well. I kind of like how he didn't really want to turn to Nurgle, but he kind of did to save him and his Marines.
Yeah. But man, once he did, he just went full bore into it. He's like, well, I'm damned now.
There's no turning back now. I'm one ugly bastard. But yeah. It was just too good of a deal. On eBay Plus, I have a membership, so sometimes I get vouchers, and they gave me like a $3 off, something like that. And also, it was free premium shipping or express shipping. So normally that's about $15 if you pay for that yourself. So it ended up being, I don't know, like $70 to $80 for Gilliman, and it was free express shipping. And normally he's about $100 model. So it was just, if there's going to be a time that I'll grab him now and just.
Yeah. Get it while the getting's good, right?
And I do still have my Wolves and Templars, but what I kind of had in mind is if I do end up doing like playing Marines, even if they are different colors, I look at it as obviously in lore sometimes different chapters help each other
Mm-hmm.
on the battlefield. So I don't feel that it would be weird if I did have some ultras with some wolves or whatever mixed in.
I've done that one time at the GW store I play at sometimes. You know, sometimes people
Yeah,
will just jokingly like my White Scars force wasn't as big as I needed to for a couple of my games. I mean, this was before I have the full size army I got now, and so I
yeah,
had a couple of wolves and a couple of ultras to fill out the ones I needed.
yeah,
And a couple of guys razzed me a little bit. They're like, "What is this? Power Rangers force going on here with all these different colors? Did just everybody show up to this battle?" But after a little bit of razzing, a lot of people thought it was pretty cool to see like the different chapters coming together. Because like I only took the fully painted ones instead of bringing like the ones that are like partially just primered white scars or still gray. And they said
yeah.
that in the end, even though they were joking about it, they're like actually really cool seeing like three well painted colored Space Marine chapters coming together to be fielded all at once. So
Yeah, with my wolves and Templars, I want to do them quite fluffy, so just kind of use more stuff that is associated with them. And then with the Ultramarines, it's like they kind of it makes more sense of them to have a little bit of anything, everything and anything or whatever. So
right.
I mean, after playing Dawn of War, I did kind of want to do Blood Ravens a little bit.
Blood Ravens seem pretty cool. Yeah, I find like not every Warhammer video game is a great video game, but the ones that are can be very inspiring to like what you want to do next. Like
Yeah,
the actual game Space Marine definitely made me
yeah.
want to play Ultramarines more. And I'm kind of glad that going into Space Marine 2 next year for 10th edition, I'm intending to really double down on doing Ultramarines for 10th. And I think with the coming of Space Marine 2, that extra hype is really going to help me lean into that.
I mean, I know they kind of drip feed Ultramarines a little bit, but I do kind of like the blue and gold or yellow sort of combo.
Oh yeah. Apparently, it was really during 8th edition they started pushing the blue and gold too, because I think before that their traditional colors were like blue and white, or even blue and yellow and blue and red, depending on which company you were playing. And that's still the case
Yeah,
lore wise, depending on which one you're playing. But they don't really push those alternate schemes as much anymore now. Which I mean, I'm totally down with because I really like the blue and gold. Although I do like the blue and white too.
yeah. I'm kind of even a fan of the old retro with the yellow trim and stuff as well.
I think it looks good, although it's definitely not my favorite. Just because, you know, hopefully, I don't think Freak ever comes back and watches the old streams that I do. So I think I could say this safely, but I really just don't like yellow as a color. This will be the one I'm gonna call tomorrow. A call tomorrow. Like, listen here, asshole.
So I step away from one stream and you do this to me.
I
All of a
love
sudden, you take away the fist part of the title. You just Frost and
Frost and G. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean I love his fists. His fists look amazing. But
yeah, he
just
does a great
personally,
job
I
with
am
them.
not a big fan of yellow. Say what?
Yeah, he does a great job with his fists. But yeah, I'm a little bit similar. And also, funny enough, I have the paint here. This was the old Citadel Sunburst Yellow, and they always say that yellow is hard to cover, but damn, this was a bad paint to use.
Oh no.
Like Like it didn't seem to just stick to the model the same way as other paints. And
Oh, that sucks.
obviously that kind of, and especially me being a kid and not really having access to what we have now, your idea is, oh, I guess if it's not going on, just keep it like piling it on until you can visually see it. But yeah, it was just a really hard paint to work with. One amazing yellow though that I've been using, and obviously it works in a certain way, but Imperial Fist contrast is amazing. That is, I forget what I used it on, but it was just it. Obviously, you need to have the right preparation.
Sure.
Oh, that's what I did it on. Just this, the feathers on this orcs. You can't really see it that well, but he has little feathers if it wants to focus. But yeah, it just because I kind of Zenithal did black, but then obviously quite a heavy white on top, just went on so nicely, and it's a great color. Because I had the Nazdrag yellow and Yandon or whatever it is. I'm not an elf, so I don't really know how to pronounce their words. But yeah, those contrast paints they was okay, but Nazdrag is really more of a brown, and Yandon or Yandon or whatever it is quite a orangey sort of yellow. But this is just like straight up yellow.
Yeah, I've seen a few other people use that. I have both Nasdrag and the Yandon Yellow, and I'm not quite happy with either of them. I use them for small applications, but I don't really just like use them. But I've liked what I've seen of other people using the
The Imperial Fist
Imperial
one,
Fist
yeah.
Yellow. Yeah, so I definitely want to try it out.
Yeah, definitely recommended. I know you just said you don't really like yellow, but if you need to use it, you may as well use
Exactly.
a really good one.
Why do you have so many yellows? I need yellow sometimes. They're not a paint I use very often, but
Yeah,
I
you just
can say though that even though I don't like them for yellow itself, the Nasdrag and Eandon yellow, well, Eandon's maybe a little bright, but it's still kind of orangey. If you thin it down over like a cream color, it can make kind of a
yeah,
nice blonde. And Nasdrag being kind of more the browny yellow does make a good dark blonde, like a dirty blonde. I think is the
they definitely have their uses, but if I did go fist, they definitely wouldn't be yellows that I'd want my whole army to look, you know.
exactly.
But yeah, they definitely have their uses, or if you want a yellow to look a certain way, but
Hey there, Cookie Wookie. Shice. Okay, thankfully it dropped into the Star Wars box underneath. I hate it when you drop a part and you see exactly where it goes, but then you bend down to pick it up and it disappears into the abyss, and you're like, I just saw you 2 seconds ago.
yeah, to me that is like what probably hell living in hell would be like. You just drop everything and lose it and don't know where it is.
And every once in a while, you'll be allowed to finish completing a model just to drop it and it break.
Yeah.
Like, finally, I've overcome the odds, and psh, shit. I am almost done with one more character. How is your ultramarining going?
Yeah, so I did put some blue wash over the armor, and it was taking ages to dry because it's not that hot today. So I just moved on to the face, and I'm down if it's going to pick it up on camera.
The camera just loves focusing in on your beautiful face.
But if anyone is interested in seeing it, I'll post it on Facebook on G the Hypersapien. I
Nice.
can I can send you a picture if you want to look at it, like
No,
through
absolutely.
Facebook chat.
Cookie Wookie, are you getting the plastic wrap for this box game? I kind of want to swing the camera over on him, but the camera looking down at my hobby table. Oh, you can see him right here. There's a Cookie Wookie. Right there.
Cats and boxes, hey?
He loves swatting at the plastic wrap that went around the game. For some reason, they're one of their number one or their number one favorite thing to play with is boxes. But their number two favorite thing is like grocery bags. Cookie Wookie, are you helping Daddy get his Star Wars ready tonight? Are you doing a Shatterpoint?
Yeah, I sent you some images if you would like to look at them at any stage.
Let me get this in this head on this body, and then we'll take a look. All right, Captain Rex also completed for the clone troopers. Almost. Almost. Focus. You can see like every wrinkle in my hand. Ugh. Well. Okay, well, let's Captain Rex. Well done, Methos. All right, you guys, I'm going to click over to my messenger. Please do not look at my flirtatious messages with Freak. But one thing you can see here, some new hobby stuff for Freak. It's gotten a whole lot more inks for his ink collection. He's been loving airbrushing the inks lately. And so, yeah, nice little set he's got going on here. Pretty sure that's, yeah, that's the FW Dalarani set. And then you can see here, we were talking some Funkin' Hungry stuff earlier, talking about different kinds of ramen, like these tonkotsu here. He was making some ramen for lunch, and he always has to add in his own fresh veggies and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. Now on to hobby stuff. Look at his face. Brother, you can paint. You were talking about you were worried because you've been only painting green skin for a while. Look at this. The level of detail on that face. You don't just play a sexy man on TV, but you can paint one too.
As I said, I'm one of those weirdos that enjoy painting faces, and then I put it onto the body. I'm like, oh, now I have to try and match the body to how much time I put into the face.
All right, we've done Captain Rex. Now we need to do the Clone Troopers.
I am looking at a bit of inspiration from this, though.
Nice. The classic Crimson Fist cover.
Yeah, because you know how the Marines, like that Louise Sugden does it a little bit, where Marines had a certain look to them back then when sometimes they would basically decorate their armor with words or just a certain look to it. Obviously, like the checker pattern's a little bit of something that's used on Ultramarines and Marines a bit. It's like I guess I'm sort of being inspired a little bit by that second edition Ray Trader retro style, but doing it in more of a modern way. So just using this for a bit of inspiration. Yeah, so on this art, some of the beakies had die and just other words, kill and stuff on them, and they even decorated some of their beaky helmets with, like this one has a smiley face and stuff like that. I'm not really sure if I'm in.
Oh yeah, you're in focus. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's just it's got a really cool and different look to it. So I probably will incorporate that into just for a little bit of fun. Just maybe put some words or a little bit of a freehand in or whatever. But yeah, I really like some old Hammer artwork. It's just very unique and different. It feels like the older editions, they let the artists have a little bit more of a free will and kind of have their own flavor and do what they want. Obviously, the artwork's still amazing now, but it's a very polished and has a certain look to it. Even old fantasy books, like the old Lizard Man book that I have, it just has a very different type of artwork.
Now I have to decide if I want to do all the freehand on these guys. I don't feel like I'm going to be inclined to, but look at this. So,
Yeah.
there's like the stripes going down the chest and up the helmets, and like this guy's helmet's a Y shape, and I don't really have that kind of confidence in my freehand abilities. I don't know. Am I going to be a little more plain Jane? Guess we'll see. We'll decide. That's future Methos' problem.
Yeah, he's got a lot of problems to sort out.
That poor bastard. All right, C1, C2, and C3. That's what I need next. Don't think the C's are on this one. C1 or C2? There's C2.
Put on a little bit of red on the, well, what is it, like a skirt basically. I love when you paint a different element, it just really breaks it up. That looks like Mr. Sinister from X-Men.
That does have a Mr. Sinister kind of vibe. I know you were talking about breaking up colors. Tell me why when you said, yeah, it really breaks it up. My first thought was. All right. I'll stop singing. Jeez.
I went to react and I'm like, and then it said you were not a part of the broadcast, like wait for the host.
I don't know what just happened there, but it booted me out of the conversation too. I guess even Melanap here was just like, okay, you're done. Oh my goodness. I'm going to finish this clone trooper I'm working on. But we are coming to the end of the stream. How did this happen? I've only got a few guys done.
One game that I've been playing lately is Bolt Gun Warhammer 40,000.
Ooh, I hear it's really good. That's on my wish list.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it doesn't really have much story. It's mainly just dialogue comes up on the screen for for whatever you might be doing. And when you start the game, there's obviously dialogue and a little bit of story. But I mean, it's one of those just mindless fun shooters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did it on about I think about medium difficulty. Obviously, those sort of games they tend to be full on, and you tend to go really hard. They have like hard and nightmare or whatever their version of nightmare is called.
Right.
But yeah, I got up to a part that it took me a few tries because they had some Chaos Terminators rock up. And the demons as well, they just sort of come out of the warp, and they have the flamers and then the pink horror. And when you kill the pink horror, it splits into the two, like the blue horrors.
Yeah.
And I'm up to the Nurgle area now, and all these random Nurglings are running around, and they don't necessarily just attack you straight away. They just have that sort of nature that Nurglings have. They're just, jumping around, acting stupid, and then they might jump at you and give you a couple of swipes. Yeah, it definitely put me in a bit of a Space Marine mood.
That's awesome. I'm going to put this big old box under my desk whenever I'm assembling in the future. This big old Shatterpoint box has caught so many dropped pieces. Yeah, I definitely want to play some bolt gun whenever I get the chance. So some of you know I am an MMO player playing on Final Fantasy 14. And I got Brother Steve from Who Took My Dice into it, and I got Brother Freak back into it recently. He's been playing on his White Mage. I main Monk, but recently in the last expansion, kind of closed out, one major story arc that's been running since A Realm Reborn, the very first one. Well, not the first of this iteration of the game.
So can you play with friends on that one?
Yep.
So it's multiplayer.
Yeah, just like World of Warcraft, it's that kind of like
get together
open world, play with friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I figured that closed out, the major story, and going into the, like the major arc, and going into the next story, I think I want to transition into Samurai, because I've enjoyed Monk, and Monk is one of the best damage classes, but like every expansion, it's gotten more and more complex and difficult. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not into MMO RPGs or whatnot for the challenge. I just want easy mode, right? Especially because I have ADD and I get overwhelmed with really complex mechanics sometimes, and so I'm just like, okay, well, if I'm trying to focus on the mechanics of the game, I don't want the mechanics of the character to be super difficult. So I want something easier. And apparently, Samurai is supposed to be easier than Monk, and so I've been hardcore leveling it. And so, like the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I got from 50 to 60. And in like just this last week, I got from 60 to 70. So I've been kind of hardcore on the level grind this week, which has been enjoyable.
Yeah, when I used to play like WoW and stuff like that, sometimes it is obviously nice to go back to a new character or a fresh character just to work on those skills. It gets a little bit serious when you get into the higher levels and you've worked on a character for so long.
Mm-hmm.
They still have both styles of fun. Like when you get more, have to fight the harder stuff, but it is always cool to go back and start a fresh character.
Oh, I agree. In fact, every once in a while, I'll go back and reactivate my World of Warcraft account, just to do this, like, early level stuff again. And I'll get to like, level 30 or whatever, and then I'll buzz off again and not play with it for a while.
I mean, you'd probably be surprised of what character or race or that I use in that.
I bet it wouldn't be orcs.
No, not at all. However, I did kind of like when the goblins came into it.
Nice. I was always super vain, so my favorite class to play was the Blood Elves. Very stylish and charismatic.
Yeah, I do really. See, I like WoW, but I'm more of a. I really enjoyed Warcraft when it was a strategy game.
Right.
That was more my cup of tea, especially the third one, how they had the characters that had abilities and stuff.
So, as a strategy fan, are you also an enjoyer of like StarCraft and stuff too?
Yeah, a little bit more Age of Empires was and Warcraft. StarCraft wasn't too bad, but I didn't really, I don't know, have the same attachment to some of the races or some of the aesthetics. But I liked Command and Conqueror as well, like the old army sort of ones.
I really love the Red Alert ones. They were
Yeah, they were
cheesy, and I
killer.
loved them for it.
And I don't know if you ever got a chance to play Halo Wars, because I'm a big Halo fan. Halo Wars is really cool.
I always intended to, and for some reason never got around to it.
Yeah, so it was kind of the Covenant and the humans at first, but then they did, in the second one, they did all sorts of different. Like you could be one of the grunts, the little tiny loudmouth ones. You could be. They had a character of. It's basically a grunt that's in this huge mech suit and just had that
Nice.
little squeaky voice as he's giving out orders.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that I really loved that game as well. And I guess we mentioned Dawn of War earlier. I really loved that, and only just got back into it when I got my laptop. Now I only bought the first Dawn of War and Winter Assault, which had the Guard and Eldar and stuff came into it.
Nice.
But haven't got around to doing like second and third yet.
I bought Dawn of War, and I'll play a level once in a while, but the levels take so long that sometimes I lose interest in the middle of the match. I'm just like, finish this one.
Yeah.
So I don't often play more than one level at a time, and then I'll leave it alone for a couple weeks. But it's like I want to like this, but my ADD is just like my mind starts wandering.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I need to get. I mean, I also recently switched supplements for my ADD, so I found my attention to be a little problematic lately. But hopefully, once my body gets adjusted to the new meds, it'll be.
Yeah, take a while for that transition to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. The old brand I was using they keep going up in price, and so it would be like before it was like used to. Okay, so I used to pay $20 for a 2-week supply, and then 25, 28, and then for the longest time the price kind of settled around $30 for a 2-week supply.
Yeah.
And then now it's like 40.
That's crazy.
But then now my oldest daughter has ADHD, so I've got to buy meds for her too, and so now it's not a 2-week supply for $30.
One person.
Yeah, it's now it's a 1-week supply for $30, and then the last straw was it increased to $40 here recently, and I'm just like, okay, I got to find a different brand. I tried for a couple of weeks to without telling my wife. I was like, maybe I just don't need my ADD meds anymore. She noticed. She noticed. She actually brought me the bottle one day. Was like, "You haven't been taking these, have you?" I was like, "Have I been acting a certain way?" Yes.
Yeah, it's like she started to wonder, and then she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll just check." And this seems pretty full, like it hasn't been going down.
She's like, "Why haven't you been taking your meds?" I'm like, "They're expensive now," and I showed her the picture where they're up to $40 for us now 1 week supply. I'm like, it's better if our daughter takes them because she needs them for studies and stuff like that. She's like, "Oh, you need them." I'm like, all right, we'll try looking into a cheaper brand. Babe, what? Am I that bad without my attention meds?
We've gone over this so many times. Yes. I noticed it, and I grumpily come up to you and talk to you about it.
I love you.
I love you too, Goober.
Yeah, she says I'm fine without them. All right. Did I pass my challenge of assembling all my army? No. I still have Clone Trooper B. Sad. This guy doesn't even have a name. He's just Clone Trooper B.
It's probably about a C-. I'll give you.
I still have Clone Trooper B left. I have Ahsoka left. and I have Bo-Katan left. I have three characters, and I've put together five and three,
Oh, you've done a
a
good
little
job.
more than
I'd say
50%.
get Mr. B out the way, because once he's out the way, then you've got the good. I feel like you get that little bit of energy burst, build in a couple of cool characters.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go.
Leave Ahsoka till last, so instead of like feeling the fatigue, you'll be like,
Yeah, she'll be the reward at the end.
finally, I get to touch her with my skin.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I am going to um, finish off these last three characters off of this stream and in a hobby hangout with some of my friends. I know Wybird's going to be there. G, you're welcome to join as always, or if you've got stuff to do, I totally understand. And anyone who's interested in a hobby hangout, just hit me up and let me know. G, any closing thoughts for you? And how do you feel about your progress on your captain tonight?
I'll just point out that this is the part of the stream that normally I'm hassling Freak to do the move.
I need to do it on my setup too. Put a move. Actually, can I show you? Can I show you? You guys want to see a secret that I had commissioned? I found an artist on Etsy. She's actually, her name is Caitlin. She's actually a D&D artist. And her main gig is she does commissions for people's D&D characters. But I had something commissioned because I've got some artwork I plan on using for some upcoming stuff for the channel. And I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a sneak peek now.
Tell me that you did the Ox as a character.
So this, everyone, is actually, let me pull it over here.
Because at this stage, it is basically another host of the channel.
Okay, this is not a comedy version, unfortunately. So if y'all were looking for a comedy version, but it is a representation. But it is the ox, but it's the ox with a with an axe. So it's like axe, ox. Is it axe with an accent? Is it ox?
That's
is it
perfect.
ox? So I love that she made the eyes of the Minotaur the same color as the channel logo.
Yeah. So next time you grab up an ox or axe, that's who's going to be standing there and making sure that you do the right thing and like and subscribe.
Although you've got to have a pair on you to pick up this ox.
That's epic. Absolutely epic.
So yeah, a little more channel art on Zive. So yeah, that is 100% ours. She drew it up for our channel, and because usually our thing is we'll find some royalty free art out there. We'll run it through the Pixel app, and make the art style blend ours, and that kind of thing. But this one is 100% ours, not just royalty free. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's epic. But yeah, my closing thoughts are just, as always, I appreciate hanging out with you. Hopefully people enjoyed watching. And yeah, it's a pretty weird painting a Space Marine. I am enjoying painting the face, but I always get a little bit weird when it comes to armor just because I don't paint it that much. So we'll see how I go.
You are doing a badass job with that face.
Yeah, because I had blue on the palette for the armor, I just thought a lot of times people say, like, the really professionals who paint miniatures say, don't just paint, if you want it to look a little bit more realistic, don't just paint human skin tone, so don't just use the peachy pink sort of colors. So I've been putting in some blue into the skin.
I thought that's what that was.
Yeah, really thin McCragg's blue into the eyes and the lower shadow area. And nice. I did put a little bit into the cheeks just to help build that definition of the cheeks.
That kind of reminds me of Louis Sugden's tutorial for faces that she did on Warhammer Plus, where she talks about warm tones above the nose and cooler tones below the nose.
Yeah, so if you're thinking of as like zenithal or where the light's going to be directed, obviously that's going to be more your natural color, and the lights. You can even see it on like parts of me, and then when you get into the shadow area, and it's also the areas that the blood will be flowing a little bit more. But
Exactly.
but yeah, that I'm having an awesome time painting the face. But I'm weird like that. I like to push myself, and paint stuff that most people cringe at.
I
And
need to push myself to do more faces too. So I think you're right.
I mean, look how small that is compared to my face.
Here's where I got up to today. It looks a lot when you put them all in one tray. It actually looks like I did a fair amount of work. Who would know that I'm 3 behind right now? Well, guys, as always, it has been an amazing pleasure to have G the Hypersapien on the channel as always. Go check him out down in our link tree below. We've got our link tree to the Friends of the Frost and Fist, and you will find every single time both of G's channels on there, Funkin' Hungry and G the Hypersapien. And yeah, go check out his channel. It's got much better content than mine. So, check him out. All right, guys. He is a master of painting up green. So he's actually got some great tutorials too on painting up your green skin, because it's not easy being green.
So true.
If you guys like tonight's chill chat, hangout, painting up some Shatterpoint, and if you guys want to see some more Shatterpoint in the future, make sure that you. Oh wait, I can do it because I've got the artwork. I don't have the sound bite. Actually, you know what? I'll do the saying, G, and you can do the move for me. How about that?
It'll be my honor.
If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below, especially if you're watching from the archives. Feel free to be part of any of tonight's ridiculous conversations. And if you are not yet subscribed to G the Hypersapien or the Frost and Fist, then hey, we'd love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. So subscribe. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.